Helen with us today. She's going to talk mainly about parenting because I think she's a great parent and a great grandmother. So hi Helen, how are you?
Good, Rose. How are you today?
I'm great. Listen, can you tell everyone how you and I met?
So we actually met at graduation. Both of our husbands were taking some additional courses to get a business degree, and we met at graduation.
Yes. 20 years ago, right?
Over 20 years ago,
Yes.
I would say. Yes. It's approximately, about
Yes.
20 years ago.
Okay, and we have 4 couples in this group. All
Yes.
of our spouses went to school together.
Yes.
And had a great time, and we still get together once or twice a year, and we laugh a lot, and it's a
We
really
support each other,
yes,
I think.
yes we do. Okay.
It's a great group of people.
Yes.
Positive people. I think that's very important, is to surround yourself with people that are positive,
Yes.
because the positive people lift you up. Negative people
Right.
bring you down.
So it's great that we have each other.
It is, and it's always something to look forward to when we have dinner together. And
Yes. Yes. Okay, getting off track a little. It's not talking about parenting, but I think it's so cute. Helen, you are a petite person, which I've always wanted to be. Can you share some of your tricks for dressing and doing?
Well, I know in one of the things you had mentioned about shopping.
Yes.
So a rule that I have is I always shop alone,
Yes.
because then I buy what I like, not what someone else likes, or I know what my style is, and I know I'm more confident in my opinion of what looks good on me than what anybody else thinks.
Okay.
So I don't think most people like that. I think most women like to shop together,
Yes.
but I don't like
I
to
don't.
shop with someone who knows me, because they'll be kind and say, oh, it looks nice, but it
Right.
might not really look nice.
And sometimes where do you shop?
In the children's department, most often. Yeah, in fact, these little Old Navy size 2 children.
And you're always so fashionable, so it works. You're always stylish and young
It's
looking.
probably a fault that my husband would think, but I enjoy fashion. I do.
Yes. And another thing is, last summer we got together and Helen was not herself. She wasn't feeling well, wasn't happy. And can you tell everyone what it was?
happened. So after a long while and seeing several doctors, I had Lyme disease, and it surfaced that I actually had it twice, and I didn't know that I had it before, but my body fought the symptoms better than it did the second time. So yeah, that was quite scary. But I think one of the things we all have to know is to know our own body and be our own advocate, because I had just had I had a crown put on my mouth, and they thought that was what was causing all these symptoms. I had Bell's palsy in my face. They thought I had a stroke. They thought I might have a brain tumor. But I guess fortunately it was Lyme disease.
Yes.
But that can be very debilitating.
Yes.
But you need to fight your own. I had to keep going back to the doctor and saying, no, there's something wrong. You know, it's not. So you do have to be your own advocate.
Yes. So it did take a long time to diagnose.
Yes.
And then it took a long time to work its way through your system.
Yes.
And as you shared today, you're still not feeling the way you used to feel.
Not the way I was. And I think that's one of the hard things with Lyme, is that you really never completely recover. And the doctors told me if I'm ever tested, it comes that you have Lyme. I will never not have Lyme. It's always there. So that's how they knew I had it before.
Serious.
It is serious.
Yes. Okay, now getting into the parenting. One thing I admire about you, Helen, so much is that whenever we get together, you always share stories about your family and your grandchildren, and you do so many fun things with them.
We do.
And you're so actively involved, you and Mike. Do you have any funny stories to share?
Well, I know I was talking the other day about I have one granddaughter, and she kind of taught me a little lesson. I was asking her about something we were going to do, and I said, well, I have to do it. And she said, very emphatically almost stopped and said, Mom, you have a choice. And I was taken back. I thought, here's this little 6-year-old little girl telling her grandmother, you have a choice. And she explained to me, you have a choice, Mom, you can do it or you cannot do it. But it's your choice.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't say the words, you have to live with it, but I got that impression was
Yes.
like, it's your choice.
Yes.
But then you have to live with that choice.
Oh
And
my gosh.
it made an impression on me.
Yes.
Because it's a different generation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm proud that my daughter-in-law and my son are teaching her that she does have power, that she can make a choice.
Yes.
So I think as an adult woman, she won't have some of the problems saying no or yes to opportunities or things that she doesn't want to do in this life. So I think that's an important thing that I didn't always teach my children, but that this generation, they do teach you have a choice. Not just the boys, the girls, everybody.
Right.
Choice.
But you did such a great job raising your children. How did you learn how to be a great parent to your 3 boys?
I think my parents, even though I parented different than them, there was always the love. I always felt loved no matter what I did, and that was one thing I always wanted my children to realize. Not that giving them permission to be bad or misbehave or do anything wrong, but that I would love them. We would love them no matter what happened, no matter what the challenge is.
Yes.
So one thing that I always look back on that my oldest son said to me, and he was probably about 35 at this time, that impresses me. He said, Mom, when I was the worst kid, you were the best mother. And I thought, after I thought about that, that was really a big compliment. I said, well, explain that to me. And he said, well, you would yell and get all upset about a dirty room, and you would carry on about some of the little things, but when I would do something really wrong, in his estimate, it was wrong, like leave college, you didn't lose it. It was how can we help? What can we do to move forward? Which made me feel kind of proud of myself.
Yes.
That when, that small sentence, when I was the worst kid, you were the best mother.
Yes.
You think about that's pretty deep.
Yeah.
I hope he always feels that way. But
Yes.
that's something that I felt good about.
Very wise.
I was surprised that he said that.
How did you raise respectful kids with strong self-esteem?
Well, a lot of it, I like this phrase, knowledge is power. And I would always tell them, there isn't anything you can't do, but you have to work for it and you have to learn about it. So read a book. If you want to be a baseball player, read about it. You want to be a scientist, study. Read about it. And there's nothing you can't find out if you read. So reading was a big thing. We always read together every night. Every night. That was a ritual. And my boys all still read every night before they go to sleep. I still read every night before I go to sleep. I don't read as long because I fall asleep quickly.
Well, that's one way to help you fall asleep as well. Okay, were your parents involved in raising your children?
Well, they were always there. I will take my grandchildren overnight. My parents never did that, and I never thought that they should. A generation now, almost every grandparent I know now does do that with their grandchildren. But my parents were always there to love them and never there to criticize. And I think that's important. I think one big thing that I believed in as a child, I had other people that mentored me and loved me, not just my parents. And I think children have to know that they are lovable to other people, not just to their parents. So that was something I admired about my mom. She was never threatened. I was very close to my aunts, and almost like they were favorites. And we had a neighbor across the street that was very important in my formation as a woman. But as a child, I always ran to her if there was a problem, and it never threatened my mother.
Right.
Which I,
That
as
took
an
a
adult,
strong
it
woman.
did take it,
Yes.
because But then I found out as an adult that my mom also went to this person all the time. So she was a mentor to both me and my mother.
And you told me
good
about
friend.
Florence earlier. You were talking about her, how you would go over there often to share your problems with her.
Yep.
And
just
what
talk
was one of
over.
the things she told you?
So always this impressed me as a child, and I'm 69 years old, so I'm a different generation.
Still hard to believe, isn't it?
But my mother and father didn't talk about sexual things, or you didn't even say pregnant or whatever. Florence would say everything, and I remember I wasn't even 20 years old. I was probably 16 when she said to me that, oh, sex is so wonderful after menopause. And I was shocked because my mother didn't even talk about sex or anything like that. But it like stored that in my mind, so that when I started menopause, I wasn't afraid of it. I was almost like, oh, well, sex is going to get better after menopause. It's good now. I can't wait till it's
Oh my gosh.
So,
thank you,
yeah.
Florence.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even different things about saving. Florence always had an envelope. When I got engaged, she showed me, she said, this is your envelope. Every week I'm going to put $2 in this envelope till you get married. And she bought me this beautiful silver set chafing dish and a tray. I still have it. 49 years married.
What an impact she made on you
A very
in your life.
big impact.
And because your mother allowed her
To be part of my life and not be threatened. And that is, it's not easy to do sometimes as a mother, to see your child turning to someone else. I always thought that was so smart of my mother. But when I found out later that she also went to Florence with her confidentiality, that, it surprised me.
Yes.
That she was there for me and for my mother. And Florence did know that. I know after we moved away, I would always, on Mother's Day, call Florence.
Aww.
I always called her till
So
she
she
died.
knew how special
she knew.
she was.
She knew. And I even
Wonderful.
she has a son. Her son. I let him know how important his mother was to me. So.
And I know, Helen, that you have impacted other younger people throughout your life. You shared with me yesterday that you were a Girl Scout leader, and you didn't have any girls.
I didn't have any girls. But a neighbor's daughter asked me, and they were 7th and 8th grade girls, and I was actually pregnant with my second child. And I think my husband thought it was a little crazy and strange, but I knew these girls identified with me, and they knew me because I worked in school for the lunch program. So these kind of young girls, 7th, 8th graders, would see me at school, and Rose, I like everybody.
Yes, you
So
do. You're kind to everyone.
they asked me, and I said, yeah, it might be fun for me.
Helen, what are the 3 most valuable lessons you could share about being a great parent?
I think number 1 would be loving them and having them know that even when they make a mistake and they disappoint you, you still love them. Because I always felt loved by my parents. My parents thought I was the greatest thing. And I know I wasn't, but they thought I was. And that's a true gift, that your children know that. And, the respect, which the only way you can teach that is by living it yourself. As husband and wife, to respect and have the boundaries that the kids don't always see when you have the conflict. Not hide completely, but they don't have to know everything, but knowing that the boys always knew I respected Mike. I never belittled him in front of them.
Very
They
important.
knew anything was, they knew that, you have arguments, but you don't. So the respect is really important. And listening. It's the listening. Because I'm a fixer, and I always, okay, how can we solve that problem? How can we, as they grew and became older, they didn't really want me to fix it. They just want me to listen. And my mom was a good listener too. Even when they lived with us.
Yes.
Never interfered.
Yes.
And I couldn't believe that they wouldn't, but they never did.
So they don't always want the answer.
They don't always want the answer. They don't want you to fix everything. They just
Yes.
want you to know that you're there and you care and you love them.
Earlier we were talking about balancing, life balancing. So what do you
Yeah.
have to say about that?
I think I'm 100% in on whatever it is I'm doing. If I'm at work, I'm 100%. When I'm home, I'm 100%. But if I had to choose, I mean, work thinks I'm never going to leave, but I always tell them, you know, if anything ever happened to my spouse or happened to one of my grandchildren or my children that they needed me, there's no question. But my work is very important to me. I get a lot of satisfaction out of helping people
Yes.
and training people. I like passing it on. That's a big thing. I think pass it on, and you know, just kindness to people. Little things mean so much to some people.
Yes. They really do. You never know what kind of impact you're making when you're kind to someone or
It's
give
very
them the
true.
extra
Or
attention.
even give them a little tiny piece of advice. I was telling one of my sons that I started this habit that I counted every day. How many times someone said something nice to me. Not think about who said anything, because people do say cruel things or rude or whatever.
Right.
And I would say, yesterday 9 people said something nice to me. And he said, Mom, 9? And I could tell them each one what was said. And it may just be something small like, oh, I
Yes.
like your shoes.
Yes.
Oh, your hair looks nice. I
Yes.
love your glasses. Just something, because sometimes people go through the day and no one talks to them.
Right. Yes,
And
you're
it's a little
grateful
thing.
every time someone
Be
notices
grateful.
you and,
Yes.
and treats you special.
A smile,
Really
even,
nice.
just a gesture. So kindness. We don't have enough kindness in this world.
No,
that's
we
for
don't.
Sure.
We don't. Okay, Helen, you seem so perfect and positive to me all the time. So I want you to tell me a few things that bring you down to a human level. So here we go. Tell me one bad habit.
Bad habit, I buy too many shoes.
Okay, there you go.
Shoes. You wouldn't believe how many shoes I have, Rose. Too many shoes.
And I know you're big at accessorizing the shoes
I
and the
am.
purse. So
Oh,
you must
yes.
have a lot of purses.
I have a lot of
too.
purses too, yes.
Okay, what do you lose or forget frequently?
Glasses, keys. I'd say those
Okay.
two, yeah.
So
Glasses.
you're pretty human, pretty normal.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever sleepwalked?
No.
No.
That's one thing
Okay.
I've never done.
What words do you always struggle to spell correctly?
Everything. My kids make fun of
Everything.
my store lists. Oh, I'm a terrible speller. I really am. And EL and LE, I'm bad.
Huh.
Yeah.
So
I
do
am.
you use spell check?
I do.
Yes.
Or
Thank
even
God for that.
I pretend I'm sending someone a text message so I can get the right words, because it'll tell me I spelled the word wrong.
Oh, clever. Okay.
There's always a way around it.
When was the last time you were moody?
So I would say Mother's Day, because I missed my mom. Mother's Day, I struggle with this with my boys, because they get upset that I don't look forward to Mother's Day. And I never really had the realization until after my mother passed. And that first Mother's Day, all these commercials about get your mother a card, buy your mother this, buy your mother that, and it hurt me deep inside that I
Right.
didn't have someone to buy a Mother's
Right.
Day gift. So I solved that. I buy my daughter-in-law's presents for Mother's Day, and they think I'm crazy, but I have to give someone something on Mother's Day. So I actually gave them Pandora bracelets for Mother's Day and give them a charm.
I feel like
I know that. I
crying.
think they were almost embarrassed when I did it, because they thought I was giving them too much. That is something about me. I really get a lot of joy giving someone a present. I don't need a present back.
Right.
I really like to give to people, because I don't think people know they're important enough.
True.
Yes.
Okay. Getting back to reality here.
Okay.
What do you and Mike never see eye to eye
Well,
on?
that's easy. Being on time and getting ready.
Oh, okay.
It's always a struggle.
Okay.
Because I like to be early.
All right,
because
you
of
like to be on
business.
time.
I'm
Okay.
always 15 minutes early. Mike's
Yes.
always 15 minutes late.
Yes.
And it's
Okay.
so I have to avoid him when I'm getting ready.
Got it. Okay, and what's your secret obsession?
Shoes.
Shoes. Another. Okay.
Shoes.
Once again. Okay, and do you really appreciate constructive criticism?
Yeah, I really thought about that question. You know, I like to believe that I do it, but it depends on who's doing. I'm very good at work when someone
Right.
is coaching me.
Yes.
Because we at work we never talk about criticism,
Yes.
and I react very very well to that.
Okay. So
not
it's
so
different
much
at
of,
work
like,
than.
yeah, it's not so much if it's the husband giving the
Gotcha.
criticism.
Gotcha. Okay, you're normal. All right. All right. What's your favorite sexy song?
I guess Unchained Melody, but I listen to a lot of music, a lot of different kind of
No, I'm
music.
talking about sexy, not emotional.
Sexy. Yeah, well, I don't know, because I really like to dance, so yeah, I like a lot of music.
Okay,
Yeah.
you do, and I know you love
I really
to dance.
do. I do love to dance. I do
Yes,
love to
every
dance.
occasion you're
Mhm.
out there, no matter what.
Electric slide.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
I love to
yeah.
dance.
Have you ever had a wardrobe malfunction?
So I had to really think about that. I did. I was training an intern. This is a funny story. I usually have interns every summer, and this young fella, we had done an appointment together, and we came outside, and I always asked them what did they learn, or what did they observe, or whatever. And something came up about the lady had lipstick on her teeth, and I said, that's really important. If you ever see that I have lipstick on my teeth, or I don't know, something's out of place, and I went into this big explanation for about 10 minutes explaining that he should not feel funny to tell me. And he didn't say a word, he listened. So at the end he said, so, I should tell you that your fly was down the whole time we were in it.
Oh my gosh!
And I looked down, and it was. I had a lady suit
Oh,
on.
that's a riot.
And I said, oh.
Oh, that's funny.
So
All right.
yeah, that's,
Okay, one more question. Have you ever been arrested?
no.
Okay.
Senior week,
Oh.
I almost was, because I thought we went out to breakfast the next morning, a bunch of girls, and I thought the other girl had money, and she thought I had money, and we had no money. Fortunately, it was long ago enough that it was okay. The guy
So
let
you
us
said
out.
we'll come back to pay?
I don't even remember that we came back and paid. I don't know what we did, but the guy was not happy, but he said just go. It was just like pancakes. It wasn't like a big deal, but that impressed me that I could have actually been in a lot of trouble. And I was like, Joanne, you don't have any money? She said, I thought you had money. I don't have money.
That's funny.
So that's the closest I ever came to that.
Okay, so you did come down a few notches to normal
See?
level.
Rose,
Okay.
I'm not as perfect
Yes.
as you think.
Well, Helen,
We're all
thank you
human.
so much. I really wanted you to share your wisdom about parenting, and I
It's
wanted
always a
everyone
struggle.
to get to know what a wonderful person you are. So thank you
Thanks,
very
Rose.
much.
You are
Okay.
too.
Oh,
Good friend.
Thank you. Hey, thanks for watching. Hope you learned a few things from this special guest. Please like and subscribe, and most importantly, share this video with others who you think might enjoy it. And remember, if you or someone you know would like to share your real stories, please message me. Don't be shy. Then I can keep sending more remarkable women your way. Bye for now. Come back often.